Adolf Hitler was born on April 20th, 1889, in Braunau am Inn, Austria, near the German border. As a child, he dreamed of becoming an artist rather than a politician or soldier. But his dream collapsed after he was rejected by the Vienna Academy of Fine Arts. He spent years living in poverty, selling small paintings just to survive. Everything changed when the First World War began in 1914. Hitler volunteered to serve in the German army and experienced the horrors of trench warfare firsthand. Germany's defeat in 1918 left the country politically unstable, economically devastated, and filled with anger. In that atmosphere of crisis and frustration, Hitler found an opportunity that would change Germany and the world forever. The next chapter would transform a little-known political speaker into the leader of Germany, setting Europe on the path to the deadliest war in history. After Germany's defeat in the First World War, the country was forced to sign the Treaty of Versailles. Many Germans saw the treaty as deeply humiliating, and the resulting political and economic turmoil created an opening for extremist movements. In 1919, Hitler joined a small political group called the German Workers' Party. Within a short time, his speeches began attracting larger crowds. His ability to deliver emotional speeches helped him gain loyal supporters, while blaming Germany's problems on political enemies and spreading hateful anti-Semitic propaganda. In 1923, Hitler attempted to seize power by force in Munich. The failed effort became known as the Beer Hall Putsch. The coup failed, and Hitler was arrested and sentenced to prison. While imprisoned, he wrote Mein Kampf, a book outlining his political beliefs, nationalist ideology, and plans for Germany. The book also promoted racist and anti-Semitic ideas that later shaped government policy. After his release, Hitler changed his strategy. Instead of trying to seize power by force, he focused on winning influence through legal politics, mass rallies, and relentless propaganda. The Great Depression devastated Germany. Millions lost their jobs. Businesses collapsed, and public frustration grew, making extremist promises more appealing to many voters. In January 1933, Hitler was appointed Chancellor of Germany. Within months, he and his allies dismantled democratic institutions and concentrated power in their own hands. Political opponents were imprisoned, independent voices were silenced, and fear became a tool of control across the country. By the late 1930s, Germany had transformed into a dictatorship. The decisions made during these years would soon push Europe toward the deadliest conflict in human history. What followed was a war that spread across continents, caused unimaginable destruction, and ended with the collapse of Hitler's regime in a bunker beneath Berlin. In the final part, we'll examine the war's devastating consequences, Hitler's last days, and the lasting lessons history continues to teach. On September 1st, 1939, Germany invaded Poland. 2 days later, Britain and France declared war. The conflict that followed became the Second World War, the deadliest war in human history. Over the next 6 years, the war spread across Europe, Africa, and Asia, leaving entire cities destroyed and millions of families forever changed. During the war, the Nazi regime also carried out the Holocaust, the systematic murder of approximately 6 million Jewish people, along with millions of other victims including Roma, disabled people, political prisoners, and others targeted by the regime. By 1945, Germany was collapsing. Allied forces were advancing from the west, while Soviet troops fought their way into Berlin from the east. Deep beneath the city, inside the Führer bunker, Hitler spent his final days as his government fell apart around him. On April 30th, 1945, Adolf Hitler died in the bunker. Soon afterward, Germany surrendered, bringing the war in Europe to an end. By the end of the war, an estimated 60 to 85 million people had lost their lives. The destruction reshaped the world and left scars that remain visible even today. History is not only about remembering victories, it is also about understanding how hatred, propaganda, and unchecked power can lead to unimaginable suffering. The story of Adolf Hitler remains a warning, not a model, for future generations.